some of the violence that's been taking place as protests become increasingly heated in the city. Let's see if we can pull up Thomas Sparrow now. Thomas, good to see you. Things look like they've calmed down there where you are. What does it look like in Hamburg today?
It looks really nasty, I must say. I'll show you around a bit what's happening here around the Schanzenviertel. That's the place where most of the clashes took place last night. You can probably see that looted shop, and this is only one of a few looted shops that we can see on this street. And there's something that we actually can't show you, and that's the absolute dreadful smell of things that are burnt around here. Just across from where we stand, there are lorries trying to pick up everything possible that was damaged yesterday. ATMs were completely damaged. The streets look just absolutely burnt. I must say it is extremely worrying from my perspective to see this happening in a German city. There are protests, obviously, that took place last night. All the clashes that took yesterday, the police said that there were around 1,500 militants in that protest last night. And there are 197 policemen that have been injured, not only yesterday, but in the course of the protests that have been taking place in and around the G20.
Yeah, Thomas, let's take a look now at what exactly happened last night when police in Hamburg were struggling to contain these violent protests. Thousands of far-left demonstrators rioting against globalism and capitalism. We have a quick report.
This is not what Chancellor Merkel hoped to show off by hosting the G20 summit in Hamburg. Both protesters and police have reported serious injuries. Looters laid waste to several stores in the city. Earlier on Friday, smoke billowed over Hamburg after demonstrators set cars on fire. A police spokesman told a German newspaper that his force had never before experienced so much hate and violence. A local politician says tensions have risen after police broke up a major protest on Thursday and enforced a ban on protest camps. There's frustration that camps couldn't be built. Outrageous that those governing this world are put up in luxury hotels, and the rest of us don't even have the right to camp. Protesters say they're here due to frustrations with the event itself and the issues at hand. This is a huge two-day event, and the politicians involved have already told the press that they don't expect to make any major decisions. Yet there will be 500 to 700 million euros invested uselessly on the summit. I'm not very politically engaged, but Trump's withdrawal from the Paris climate deal is unacceptable. I think we need to send out the message that this betrayal by the US will be catastrophic for the environment. The G20 summit ends today. The demonstrators have one final day to send their message to the world leaders in Hamburg.
And we're back in Hamburg with our correspondent, Thomas Sparrow. Thomas, we were seeing some very violent scenes at the beginning of that report. Tell us about these protesters' motives. Why burn cars and attack supermarkets?
Well, that's one question, in fact, that we've heard from many people here. People obviously understand that a peaceful protest can happen, that it should be allowed as part of the democratic process in Germany and in other countries. What not everyone can understand is why people also have to come to this part of town or to other parts of town and simply burn cars or loot stores or damage ATMs or burn parts of the street or signposts or bus stops and whatever else you want. They also don't understand why you have to on certain occasions act like that towards the police. There are in fact signs here in some of these streets that say in other languages, for example, death to police. So there are certain limits. One limit is obviously people recognizing that they have the right to protest, whereas other people still don't understand what they actually achieve when they burn a car. One of the arguments that people do say is that they manage to disrupt the normal process of the summit. In other words, by showing these looted shops or these burned cars, that actually overshadows the political discussions that are happening in another part of town. And that's probably one of the goals that that they have.